Hey there, guys and gals, friends and foes. Welcome to another edition of Back of the Cereal Box. And this morning, we are going to be talking about WandaVision. We're going to be talking about the King Kong and Raya trailers. We're going to be eating some honeycomb cereal and talking to author, podcaster, publisher, and filmmaker Stephen Zimmer. And we're going to do that right now. Or so I thought. Right now. All right, guys and gals, we are back. And this is Back of the Cereal Box. I am your host, the prophet of pop culture, John B. Pyka, but you can call me Johnny. We've already got a few viewers watching, and if you are watching, please make sure you post a comment. And if you're watching on YouTube, click the subscribe button and press that bell icon so that you get all of our notifications, all of our new episodes. Now, Aubrey Brewer is running late, and Dee Bartee, wait, there she is. There she is. Good morning, AubryX.
Good morning.
You do not sound happy about this morning.
I'm just extremely tired.
Listen, it was so hard for me to pull myself out of bed this morning. But here I am. And look, I've got a big bowl of honeycomb cereal. Have you ever had honeycomb?
I had one of the honeycomb cereals, yeah.
Honeycomb is interesting because it has big, real honey flavor, but not really. It tastes more like buttery puffed wheat, which is good, but it doesn't taste like what I would think a honey thing would taste like. Yeah. But look, this is why I picked this one this week. One, it was on sale at Walgreens for $1.99 a box, which is an incredible value. And two, on the back, because you remember, when I was a kid, we didn't have iPhones or iPads at the table. So the back of the cereal box was our entertainment. And this one has this cool 7 days, 7 ways to make this your best week ever. I love this idea. So day 1, be kind. Practice a random act of kindness. Day 2, be confident. Don't be afraid to be your unique self. I've never been afraid of that. Day 3, be adventurous. Try something you've never done before. Aubrey, what are you going to try this week that you've never done before? Day 4, be creative. Make something cool. I do that every week. Day 5, be independent. Take the initiative to do something for yourself or something yourself. I think that applies to you. You're pretty independent, right?
Mostly, yeah.
Yeah, you're an independent woman. And day 6, be a dreamer. You can achieve great things if you dream big. Our upcoming guest, Rose Marie, would agree with that. And day 7, be brave. Be confident in doing the right thing.
I like that.
I love that. I love that. It's not a game. But it's important life lessons, and I would agree that this is a great way to have the best week ever. Now, as I was mentioning, as we came live on the air, Dee Bartee had a death in the family, and she would not be joining us, but we have a very special co-host. Now, before I bring in our guest, Aubrey, I noticed something different in your bowl this morning.
Raisin Bran.
Raisin Bran. You're going to be fun to be around later this afternoon.
Why? What do you mean?
I'll let you discover that on your own. So, Stephen Zimmer has joined us. Stephen Zimmer of the remarkable Seventh Star Press family, author, publisher, podcaster, and filmmaker. Stephen, I ask every one of our guests, you're laughing about the Raisin Bran comment.
I am still laughing
I
about
had
it.
a feeling.
Hello, Aubry. Yes, that was funny.
Yeah, Stephen knows. But Stephen, tell our audience who you are, what you do, and how you got wrangled into doing this at 8 o'clock in the morning on the internet.
Well, my name, as you said, is Stephen Zimmer, and as far as what I do, you've already pointed out that I'm pretty much a hat collector, it almost sounds like, but my heart and soul is as a writer storyteller, so that kind of takes form as an author and a filmmaker, but I also am a publisher, a podcaster, and then also a founder of the Imaginarium convention, so that keeps me pretty busy in indie world. Definitely. And as far as getting wrangled into this, well, I've had the blessing, honor, and of knowing you for quite a while. So love your endeavors, and this new show is absolutely fantastic. And so when I got the offer to be a guest on, of course, said yes immediately. So that's this is not a bad time for me. I'm usually up writing at this time. So if I put aside my writing session to be on the show, you must be pretty important.
Now, I told your better half, Holly, to make sure that you had a big bowl of cereal this morning.
I do. I have some.
What do you got?
And it's going to be good indie author advice. Now this, let me see if I can hold it up here. That looks, you can see it. It looks like crunch berries. But I'm going to tell you, the best kept secret in stores is the, let me see, there we go.
Mm-hmm.
The bagged cereal, the clones, the knockoffs. Yes, that's the malto meal version of Crunch Berries. And I always have loved Crunch Berries all my life. But the big secret is, of course, is that all those big companies that make the brand name stuff tend to be the same companies that make the knockoffs. So that is why when you try a lot of these cereals, they taste pretty much exactly like the real thing. So I'm an economical sort, but we'll call it Crunch Berries.
I'm a big fan of the big bags there because they are cheaper, but people don't notice them because they're at the bottom of the shelf in the grocery store. You got to bend over to pick them up. But the only reason I don't do the bag cereals is because it's a lot harder, as you just discovered, to hold up the bag as opposed to the box. So
that's true. That is true.
Do you remember this theme song, Stephen? Honeycomb, honeycomb, hun, hun, honeycomb, honeycomb, honeycomb.
Oh, yes. And honeycomb was always one of my favorites growing up. Yeah, absolutely. Love the jingles of the past.
Yeah, this is pretty good. I've not had it since I was a kid, and I'm digging it. It's not super sweet and pretty good. Now, here's the question, Stephen. 12-year-old Stephen Zimmer.
Okay.
Saturday morning. What are you watching on TV?
Saturday mornings in Lexington as a 12-year-old, we had a slate of cartoons. And I was like a creature of habit every Saturday morning. I would always have a great cereal. Tended to be, if you remember, Quisp, little guy with the propeller on his head. That was my cereal growing up. And then the other one I liked was Rice Krispies with putting my own sugar into it, so I could make it as sugary as I possibly could, and to the point that I would be scooping spoonfuls of sugar out at the bottom at the end.
The sugar,
great stuff. And but Saturday mornings I would typically watch. Cartoons that I would focus on were Thundar the Barbarian, Dungeons and Dragons, Captain Caveman and the gang. I guess that was the Hanna-Barbera cartoons.
Yeah.
And then stuff like they had another cartoon I loved that had old video game characters, like old school video game characters like Donkey Kong and Pac-Man. They actually had a cartoon series of those guys. And about 12-year-old me would be watching all of that for about 3 or 4 hours. Then around noon in Lexington was when our local wrestling show would come on. And that was the early days where we had Jerry Lawler, Randy Savage, Leaping Lanny. All those guys were in there, as you know, they're very obviously in their young stage then, but it was great, and it would start off with this iconic like trophy spinning with light gleaming off of it and a big bombastic intro, and yeah, that was always fun. And so yeah, I always capped it off with the wrestling, and then I went outside and actually played outside back when kids used to do that.
All right, so I had a pool in my backyard, so we would hit the pool, or ride our bikes down to the drugstore and get comics and junk food. But before that, I had to stay in the living room at least to watch the Godzilla movie of the week.
Oh yes.
After wrestling, we had Godzilla or Kung Fu movies, and I wasn't a big Kung Fu movie fan as a kid, but those creature features, anything with big, stompy robots and monsters, I was a fan of. So, hey, before we get into the rest of the show, we got some comments already. Bunch of people watching. Cindy Kep says, good morning. Good morning, Cindy. How are you all? We're doing great. It was tough. And I posted this earlier, but Anthony Sakovich said, I eat Raisin Bran all the time. Knock it off. LOL.
I saw that. Yeah.
Yeah, you're fun to be around, Anthony, I'm sure. DL is watching this morning, and she is one of our regular co-hosts. I prefer small individual boxes because I was never allowed to get them growing up. Really? Well, you'll have to tell us that story the next time you're a host, DL. Does anyone remember Hanna-Barbera? Of course. Oh, yes. I am a Hanna-Barbera universe freak. And Stephen, are you into comics at all?
I did. I was a big baseball card kid growing up, and I did enjoy comics. My dad had given me his that he had when growing up, Sergeant Fury, a lot of Marvel stuff and whatnot. But I never got as heavy into it as you did, because I kind of skewed to the novel route early, thanks to my mom. but I always did have comics and love them. Yeah, so I did enjoy them quite a bit.
The reason I ask is because when I was growing up, watching the Hanna-Barbera cartoons, and they did Space Ghost and the Herculoids and Mitor and Birdman and the Galaxy Trio and the Impossibles and Blue Falcon, Johnny Quest.
Johnny Quest. Yeah.
I always wanted them to do a team up. I was like, why are these guys not like this giant super team? Why are Blue Falcon, Space Ghost, and Birdman not like the Trinity? And finally, DC Comics, who bought Hanna-Barbera through Warner Brothers, a few years ago did a comic series called Future Quest, and that's what it was. It was the team up of all of the Hanna-Barbera universe characters, and it was fantastic. And DL Memphis says, does anyone remember Hanna-Barbera's The Shmoo?
I was about to mention him. Love the Shmoo.
That is so funny. I thought maybe I was the only one who was a Shmoo fan, and I learned how to drawing that blob shape character. The Shmoo.
Oh yes.
Oh, I remember now. Yeah.
Yeah, that just white. And I guess he could change shape, stretch. Mm-hmm. I forget the whole thing, but that was weird. And Anthony Sakovich says, Johnny Quest. Yes. Love some Johnny Quest.
Watch that one a lot.
And DL says, I loved the Shmoo. So we're going to have to find the Shmoo merchandise. Speaking of merchandise, this is the part of the show, Stephen, where we share any loot that we got this week, any cool finds. And Cindy Kep says, I watched an hour or more of Looney Tunes. And hey, those are back on MeTV. They're on right now on Antenna TV. So MeTV, you can watch those. Not now. Stay with us. But but afterwards, go watch some Saturday morning cartoons. So I am going to do this. Boom. I see. I thought the loot days were over because we get past Christmas and we kind of get back into the normal lives. But if you watched Aubry, if you watched the videos of our road trip to the flea market and to Bowling Green, I know you watched them because you couldn't go. She's like, go back and watch them. See what you missed because we had a great time. But I found on vinyl 2 episodes of the Green Hornet radio show. And I showed those yesterday. Or last week, and I had no idea that radio shows were on vinyl. And so I've become a man obsessed. And I picked up this week Captain Midnight, 4 exciting adventures on vinyl. Super excited about that. And then if you guys were into old time radio, Fibber McGee and Molly, and I've got 2 Fibber McGee and Molly records. They're 2 or 4 episodes each. Aubry, Stephen, have you guys been old time radio fans?
Oh, I love old time radio. Yeah, definitely not an encyclopedia on it, but I love it.
It's definitely I find it interesting. Yeah, that's something I could see you definitely finding at a flea market, but that's about it.
Well, you can get the old time radio episodes on CD at Cracker Barrel. They've got a spinner rack of them.
That's another place I could see having.
Yeah, and you know what? I got addicted to old time radio when I was in college because I lived 8 hours from school was 8 hours from home. So when I would go home back and forth on holidays and whatnot, I would pop in a cassette of old time radio Shadow or Green Hornet episodes. Because when you're traveling across country, radio cuts in and out, and it's pretty crappy sometimes. So it was a lot easier to put in a cassette, and I had music that I would listen to, but I loved listening to audiobooks and old time radio, and so that's what I would do. Picked up 2 other things this week, and these are not vintage, but I found them in the stores, and I had to have it. It's the little things in life that make me happy. And I cannot wait for the Falcon and Winter Soldier TV show coming up on Disney Plus. And this is the John Walker Captain America mini-mate with Bucky the Winter Soldier. I love these mini-mates. I'm obsessed with them. And I recently put away a huge collection because I didn't have a place to display them. They're in storage. I really don't need to own any more, but I couldn't help myself. It's Captain America. And then you guys who are into board games may love this.
Oh, cool.
Oh, yeah.
Game mashups. Simon and Sorry mashed up. And we went to play this last night, and you need AA batteries for Simon, and we didn't have any. So we're going to get those today and play this tonight. But they did this. There's the Game of Life and Pop-O-Matic Trouble mashed up, and Connect 4 and Candyland mashed up.
Nice.
What a great idea. I'm so happy. So, Aubry, you got any loot this week? Anything cool that you found?
No, I'm still boring this week.
You're slacking.
I know.
Actually, I have loot for you.
Oh, Lord.
I don't have it up here in the room, but your sweatshirt came in.
Yay!
Yeah. So I might, I'll message you later about maybe swinging by and dropping it off to you. So you can take a bunch of selfies in it and post them to our Instagram page.
I work until 3 or probably 4, depending on.
It'll be later tonight.
Okay.
It'll be later because listen, my daughter watched the flea market episode, and she's like, we got to go back there. I'm like, yes, we do. And it's 45 minutes from the house, so we're going back. Yeah, well, I wish you could have been with us. It was so much fun. But you know what? The next road trip, and I'm gonna have a date pretty soon. We are gonna do our next road trip to Chattanooga, so you can be along with us for that. So Carl Witzman is watching. He says, good morning. I can't believe you're actually watching, Carl, after hosting his green room last night till the wee hours of the morning. Maybe he never went to bed. And Joe Dog McKeel says, howdy, y'all. Howdy, Joe Dog.
Howdy.
So let's see. Let me look at my notes here. So we've welcomed Zimmer. You've shared who you are. We've talked about what we're eating. Weekly. Okay, movies and TV. So Joe McKeel says, choo-choo. Woo, woo. Pardon me, boy. Is that the Chattanooga choo-choo? Woo, yeah. Woo. Track 49. Can you give me the time? Anyway, love that song. Can you afford to board? I'm just going to sing the whole episode. Is that okay with you guys? All right, Stephen, I asked you this question before in Messenger, like last week, and you didn't respond. But are you a Godzilla fan?
I am a Godzilla fan. Yeah, I was thinking of that when you were mentioning that earlier. I love those monster mashups growing up. Black and white movies with Rodan, Mothra, all the different opponents of Godzilla. I saw all those when I was growing up as a kid. Yeah, absolutely.
Godzilla versus Kong is on its way.
Nice.
Are we excited about this?
I am.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah.
Aubry, what about you?
I'm excited. I especially like seeing that some of the actors that are in it, so that helps. But yeah,
always been a Godzilla fan. Here's the thing about this. The trailers came out. It looks fantastic. I can't wait to see it. I love Godzilla movies. I love King Kong movies. I'm super pumped. Now there was a Godzilla versus King Kong or King Kong versus Godzilla back in the 70s, which maybe wasn't great, but it's fun Saturday matinee fun. You know what, Aubry? I think we should schedule a Saturday afternoon viewing of this.
Okay.
As Back of the Cereal Box, we'll do the show, and then we'll go watch it Saturday afternoon, just like I would have when I was a kid. I think that could be a lot of fun. But here's the thing with Godzilla versus Kong, there's no dates been released. It just says 2021.
Oh, I didn't even notice that.
Yeah, I'm really frustrated about that. But a movie that they have released dates on is the new Disney film, Raya and the Last Dragon. Have you guys seen this trailer?
Not yet. No, I have not.
So, Aubry, I sent it to you and told you to make sure to watch it. And we had some comments back and forth on Messenger about it. Did you notice what I noticed that nobody else is talking about?
Yeah, I did notice it. I didn't notice that. I didn't think that's what you were talking about at first, but I did notice it.
So, for those of you who are wondering, at the very end of the trailer, at the very end, there's one frame for like 2 seconds that shows March 5th. It's coming March 5th. And then the last frame of the trailer is available in theaters and Disney Plus Premium Access. They snuck it in there at just the tail end. Disney Plus Premium Access, which means they I think they kept it quiet on purpose. It is going to be in theaters, and we're going to go see it. I've already created an event page, Aubry, for us to go see it on March 5th, maybe March 6th. Maybe we'll do that same thing, a Saturday afternoon, after the show. But it's interesting that there's been no big announcement from Disney about it also being available streaming the same day that it will hit theaters. Warner Brothers and HBO Plus got a huge backlash when they made that big announcement that that's what they were going to do this year. And at Disney Investor Days in December, they were just very cagey about the whole digital release thing. And no one wanted to commit one way or another. And here in this trailer, they just quietly say, oh, yeah, we're going to release it on Disney Premier Access or Premium Access as well. And a lot of people, Stephen, you will understand this because you are a content creator. But a lot of fans have gotten really bent out of shape about Disney Plus. You pay your $6.99 a month subscription, but then they're releasing these movies the same day they hit theaters, but you got to pay an additional $29.99 to view it, but it becomes part of your permanent Disney Plus catalog. And 2 months later, it will be free on Disney Plus to all subscribers. But a lot of people aren't understanding why they have to charge that $29.99 on the same day as release in theaters. And I'm sure that you get it, Stephen.
Yes, I mean, definitely. I mean, they're having to come up with new models. I mean, because theaters are definitely feeling the heat with this whole pandemic thing. And so, yeah, they're finding model to have to replace that big gap. And that's about the only way, I guess, they figure it out at this point.
Yeah, I mean, they got to make the money back some way, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now, Aubry, I think you're one that doesn't really agree with that model. Am I right?
Not $30, no.
Well, okay.
I do know they need to make their money back. I agree with that, but I don't know. I feel like they're pushing it just a little bit.
So $29.99 is the price point, and let me tell you why they said it at that. And a lot of people are like, "Why would I pay $29.99 when I could pay, in Gallatin where I live, it's $8.75 to go to the movies, or $10, $12, whatever it is where you are." Why would I pay $29.99? Well, the reason it's priced at $29.99 is that's like a family price. They know that, one person isn't sitting down to watch that. You're putting, your 3, 4, 5. In my case, when we watched Mulan, 8 people were watching it, and you divide that by $30. It's less than $5 a person, or $2 a person. I mean, to me, that's a monumental deal. Now, if Aubry, if you're the only one that's going to sit down and watch it, yeah, $29.99, not even part of the equation. Right. Go to the movie theater. Anyway, let's see. Chris Brown says, imagine because other jurisdictions are locked down and it can be released in England, France, and Germany. Yeah. So you get to release it in lockdown areas, although, well, we're not going to get into that. Chris will go off on a political tirade, so we're not going to talk about that. We are, Aubry and I and Dee Bartee, Stephen, we are of the same political bent as you and Holly, but this show does not get into those.
Oh, no problem. Don't worry. I know how it goes.
Carl Witzman says they were up till midnight, but we survived. So speaking of Disney Plus, and then we'll get into your work, Stephen. Have you guys been watching WandaVision?
I was going to watch the last 2 episodes last night, but I had to stay over for work. And by the time I got home, I just kind of shut everything out.
I have to confess, I've been buried in the Revolutionary War era series Turn. It's kind of engrossing me lately. So we'll get around to it.
The basic premise, the first 3 episodes, is taking place in a sitcom universe, a classic, 50s, 60s, and then into the 70s with episode 3 sitcom setting. And you know that something is weird, that it's not quite right, that it's not really reality, but you're not quite exactly sure what's going on. And with I'm going to try not to give any spoilers, but episode 4 is a complete game changer, Aubry. Not only are all of your questions answered, everything about this sitcom setting makes complete sense. And this show, starting with episode 4, is setting the stage for the rest of the MCU movies, phase 4 to come. It is so important. If you're an MCU fan, it's a big, big, big deal. And episode 4 really sets the bar super high. And people who have hated the show or who've been on the fence, I think are going to be very, very pleased, very satisfied with what they see in episode 4. That's all I'm going to say. Now, before, let's see, we got a couple of sponsors we need to acknowledge. So we'll do that right now. We are sponsored by the League of Impossibilists and the comic book, The Further Adventures of the League of Impossibilists, based on and inspired by the characters from the Tales of the Decoverse series. Let's take a look.
Author Cindy Kep is writing on the edge. Books include Remnant in the Stars, The Loudest Actions, Lines of Succession, Mindstorm, Condemned Courier, the Yerushalayim series, and Animal Eye. Find author Cindy Kep at CKOEPP.com today.
Excellent. Thank you, Cindy. And remember, we are also brought to you by Diet Coke. Aubry still doesn't laugh at that.
I giggled a little bit.
Aubry, there's some video game news this week.
Which one? Resident Evil 8?
I don't know. You said you had some video game news this week.
Oh, yeah, Resident Evil 8. I thought you were going to say something else came up. I didn't know. Yeah, the Resident Evil 8 demo came out. It was actually a lot better than I expected. I didn't really care for Resident Evil 7, but it kind of has a mix between that and Resident Evil 4, so it's kind of cool. And vampires. I like vampires. So anybody who obviously, I think it's only on PlayStation, the demo is, but if anybody can download it, you should play it.
So you're into vampires. What's your favorite vampire movie?
A lot of them are really cheesy, but I would have to say Underworld or I would have to say Underworld for right now because that's the only one I can think of at the top of my head that is actually good.
See, I love vampire movies, but I tried to watch Underworld. 10 minutes in, I was done. Why do vampires need to use guns? Why are vampires and werewolves fighting using guns? These are supernatural creatures. I want to see vampires, using their powers.
So the lichens were able to overpower the vampires, she was supposed to be the main one. Kate Beckinsale was supposed to be a skilled vampire assassin type.
Yeah, okay, that's fine, but I mean, come on, guns. I want to see if you're gonna fight werewolves, at least use a solid silver sword. Guns are too easy. You can right around the corner and shoot them. There's no sport in that. Use silver tipped arrows. Use knives. Wait, come on. I want to see conflict. I don't want to see pew 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 pew.
I remember the popular one when I was growing up was Blade.
Blade is decent. He uses a sword. Mm-hmm. That's the way to do it. Sword stakes.
We got one movie that did that with Rise of the Lycans in that franchise. I mean, that was swords, crossbows, and that. And straight up.
I need to watch the rest of the saga, the rest of the franchise. But the first one, I couldn't do it. And when she was, why does a vampire have to drive a car? She's driving a car through the city. And she has to jump out before it goes into the lake or the river or the ocean or whatever. Why? Vampires fly. Or they can at least leap tall buildings in a single bound.
They definitely didn't make them as vampires as, your typical vampires in that movie. So I'll give you that.
Lost Boys is the best vampire movie ever made.
I still need to figure out how I can watch that because everybody's told me that was such a really good movie.
I've got it on DVD. I'll bring it to you with your sweatshirt.
Okay. Thank you.
You need to do a whole vampire episode with Holly. She could fill up 5 hours.
I would love to. I would love to. Cindy Kep says, supernatural critters using guns, eye roll. And Larry Hoy says, why does God need a starship? Exactly. Were they at least atypical guns? No, but they were atypical bullets. Mm-hmm. Somehow the werewolves, the lichens, figured out how to make bullets with sunlight in them.
UV stuff, yeah.
And Sandra Noel says Fright Night. That was a good one too.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So that's interesting. So it was Resident Evil 8?
Yeah.
Yeah, my son just finished that. So it must be good if he's playing it.
She's like 10 foot tall and she's like old timey and at the end she like pulls out these Freddy Krueger claws and it was really cool.
Very, very cool. Well, thank you for that update. Resident Evil 8. If you guys are playing it, let us know what you think about that. And so, Steven, we want to talk about your projects. You are the author of the Raiden Valkyrie series. Mm-hmm. And wait, I'm not supposed to show that one yet, am I?
Well, it's available. So, yeah, it can be shown.
Oh, it is. Okay. I thought this was the new one that you were getting ready to announce.
Oh, you can show that one too, but we can talk about that next. But yeah, that's the current release that's out there right now. The Darkness Enthroned kind of goes.
Tell us about Raiden Valkyrie Chronicles. What's the elevator pitch?
Well, these ebook novellas kind of go back to a kind of pulp era of storytelling, like the Robert E. Howard stuff, Conan stories. But each one is a standalone story, and they take place at different points in the character's timeline. And so, in that sense, they're very much with a modern twist, being ebooks, like a pulp era of storytelling. But yeah, it's definitely ancient world setting, very dark-edged fantasy, sword and sorcery, and very hard-hitting. But I hope that people find my protagonists edifying and a little inspiring. Yeah, they definitely have a bit of an honor code that they kind of stick to.
Very cool. Now you've got a spin-off series with one of the characters from the Raiden Valkyrie Chronicles, right?
Yes. Well, yeah, the Ragnar is gaining steam on his own.
All right, here we go. This is the big announcement.
Yep, that is a cover reveal right there, and that's just happened, and it is coming up in February. February the 17th is when this one will be out. This particular story goes back into Celtic lore, definitely plays with that kind of setting, and a lot of fun. And as you can tell, yeah, he's a kind of a Viking-esque kind of culture that he comes from. The planet or world that they are in is a little bit different than ours, but definitely people will get that sense that it's got a kind of a Norse foundation for him. But yeah, they takes him into a world with the whole Celtic kind of world, henges, banshee type spirits, all kinds of fun stuff.
Now, I should mention that Seventh Star Press, your publishing company, is doing some pretty cool stuff. Well, one, you're my publisher.
Yes, I am one of your.
We don't have a release date yet, but I keep crossing my fingers. But what
cover art, yes, we've got to get that cover art right.
yeah. Well, and we can talk about that offline. But yes. One of the things I love that you're doing, and we're doing this with the Tales of the Deckoverse series, is you're releasing these ebook short stories, novellas, and then after the series is done, you're putting them in a print compendium, an omnibus, so to speak.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
So. But, you know, a lot of people, you guys were brilliant coming up with this idea. If you see Stephen and Holly or any of the Seventh Star Press authors at a convention, they're going to be selling the ebooks along with the print editions, but they're not just going to be handing you, a slip of paper with the Amazon address to download it. You're going to actually buy what they call a jump card. Mm-hmm. Is it a $5 card, Stephen? That's
the typical price, but authors can, they might want to sell them at different prices, but that's going to be our typical price.
Yeah. So what it's basically like a credit card, a debit card, or is a hard copy plastic card, sometimes mounted on a peg card. So, if you can't afford a $20 novel, but you can drop $5 for an ebook, you come away with a physical product. It's not just, go to my Amazon page and you can get the ebook, because nobody does that. They leave your booth and they're not going to remember to do that, but they can take this jump card with them and download it right there from the convention floor. It's pretty phenomenal. I think it's the smartest thing that publishers have done in a long time. And I've not seen a lot of other publishers doing this yet, Stephen.
Well, we work with the source for those is actually Jump Master Press. I want to give a shout out to Gene Rowley and Kyle Hanna. They're awesome guys. And they came up with the jump card ID. And we as a press are working in partnership with them for our authors. But it's great. Like you said, you have a very slick, really nice, full color, glossy rack mounted. It's got little the hole punch things you can put it up on like a spinning rack, and they're really nice, and they have a one-time use download code on them for the ebook. On the jump card IDs actually have a USB port, and you can load an audiobook and ebooks onto them, so you can actually sell audiobooks and ebooks, the files at straight up on the jump card IDs. Then the jump cards are cards, as you said, that have the ebook downloads on them. So they're great products and make it possible for authors to sell audiobooks and ebooks at conventions.
Yeah, that's very cool. Now, Aubry, are you? We've not talked about this. Are you a big reader?
No, my mom's tried to give me books to read.
Oh, wait, my heart just broke right there.
I know. I still have one sitting and getting dust on it that she gave me to read. It was Ready Player One.
Oh yes, Ernest Cline. Ernest Cline, good guy. Yeah.
You need to read that. They did make a pretty good movie out of it too, but the book is always better.
Well, yeah, she said, "Don't you dare watch the movie before you read the book," and I still haven't done either. I know I'm terrible.
So here's the key to reading books, Aubry. So because not everyone is an avid reader, we get that. It breaks our heart, right, Stephen? You know, sometimes there's nothing better than just absorbing yourself into a great novel. And there have been times when I've started reading a novel, and I can't put it down. I've got to finish it. And I spent 24 hours one time in a chair to finish one of the Timothy Zahn Grand Admiral Thrawn trilogy books. It was the first one, Heir to the Empire. I was just like hooked. But if you can't do that, here's what you do, Aubry. You schedule 30 minutes a day. And you just read maybe one chapter or two chapters in that 30 minutes. You don't have to finish the whole book in one sitting. You can take it in bits and pieces and just make it part of your daily habit. I've got like 4 or 5 books around the house that I'm reading at one time. You know, depending on what room I'm in, I'll pick it up and read it. And Stephen, I've seen your office and the stacks of books that you have.
Stacks and stacks. Yeah. Yeah, most definitely. I'm guilty.
So Cindy Kep says she has drop cards for some of her books too. They're very handy. And Sandra says, I like Aubrey's mom because she gave you Ready Player One. You should actually, Aubry, you should love that book because you're a gamer.
That's why she gave it to me. Is like, you need to read this, because I brought up a gamer term. Well, I brought up like terms that were obviously used in the book, like Easter eggs and stuff, and she was like, "You would really like this book." So, yeah, I know, and I that's why I am interested. If I was to pick a book to pick up and just read, I would know it would be that one.
If Aubry.
Yeah.
Aubry.
And if you like 80s culture, the 80s, which I love the 80s. Yeah, you're gonna love it. You are absolutely gonna love it. Yeah.
Cindy Kep says Heir to the Empire was fun. It was so good. The Thrawn trilogy was so good. Fans so wanted that to be the new Star Wars sequels, and we didn't get that, but it's not too late. We could still do it. If you've read the Thrawn trilogy, it could be tweaked just enough to fall in between the original trilogy and the new sequel trilogy, and we could use, Billy Lord as Leia and Sebastian Stan as Luke and Alden Ehrenreich as Han Solo, and we could do Heir to the Empire. We could do the Thrawn trilogy. And Cindy Kep says, Aubry, Game Lit, check it out. It's all about tales in game worlds.
All right. I'll break down and do it.
All right. So Stephen is also one of the co-producers of one of the coolest conventions around, Imaginarium. Tell us about Imaginarium 2021, Stephen.
That is the first time that we have shown the new logo publicly. You just did it. We did not even have that logo on the website yet, and that was designed by Aaron Drown Design. That's our brand new logo.
It's beautiful.
So there you go. You got a scoop. But it is an 8th year convention, true labor of love, full all genre creative writing and storytelling convention. We include everything from the book world to the movie world to game design, programming. I mean, we've got it all, and have been evolving it to really support the independent storyteller. And it is this year, it's going to be very interesting because we're going to do a hybrid event. Last year, because of obviously with the whole pandemic joy, we were forced to take our live event and make it a virtual convention. And First time we ever did it. We had to, obviously learning curve, learn on the fly, but overall, I mean, it went really well. And so this year, though, to cover everybody, because different people are really eager to have a live event. Other people are a little more cautious, or they can't travel here. There might be people from another country that can't necessarily get here. So we wanted to offer our content to both groups. And so this year we're going to have a hybrid event. So simultaneously, we're going to have a virtual convention and a physical event. So it's going to be a little bit of a challenge, but it's going to be a lot of fun. A lot of fun to do it.
And what are the tentative dates?
Right now, we are set July 9 to 11. And the physical event will take place in Louisville, Kentucky at the Holiday Inn East. And then a virtual event will be happening during the same 3-day time period. But if you are attending the physical event, you won't miss the virtual stuff, because you can access that content for a full month after that weekend. So you can go back and watch all the panels and workshops that took place in the virtual convention afterwards.
So, Stephen, we're going to be there. We're going to be there at Imaginarium, back at the cereal box and the League of Impossibilists.
Nice.
We'll be representing. And I haven't seen any news yet about panel submission yet, or have I just missed it?
Monday. we're hitting the ground Monday. We had to take a little more time because we had to make sure we got balanced with the whole virtual versus physical thing. But we're ready, and Monday we're going to be hitting the ground running.
Very cool. So Imaginarium 2021, it is literally one of my favorite conventions of the year. There are two that I look forward to more than anything else. Superman Celebration in Paducah, Kentucky in June, and Imaginarium. It's like, the way I can describe Imaginarium, it's like a family reunion with 200 of your best friends.
Yeah.
Does that make sense? Yeah.
That absolutely makes sense. And it's by design. We want to be, it's a very tolerant, inclusive type of setting. I mean, people of all, genres, backgrounds under one roof, and the vibes are very positive. I mean, it'll be like stepping out of all the muck of today and all the things going on out there. And it's an escape for a lot of folks. They really do love it. Yeah. Our kind of environment.
Now, Aubry, have you been to a lot of comic or pop culture conventions?
There's a lot of things I've wanted to do that I haven't.
2021 is your year. This is why you hooked up with Johnny. We are going to a bunch of conventions this year, and Imaginarium 2021 is one of them. So put it on your calendar. What are you yawning on camera?
I'm sorry. I can't stop.
So Aubry, you gotta put what is it, July 9th through the 12th? Is that what you said?
9 to 11, yeah.
9 to 11. Put that on your calendar right now, Aubry, because it's an overnight trip. We will be staying in Louisville, and there is programming in all hours of the day and night, and it's going to be
tons of programming. Yeah, a lot.
And we're going to be having a lot of fun. That's going to be great. And some of my best friends I met through Imaginarium. So
me too.
It's really good. So one thing, did you say The Awakening is coming out on Monday?
No, the Imaginarium is hitting the ground running on Monday as far as opening up for everything. But The Awakening, that will be February the 17th.
Okay.
Which is a Wednesday. That's a Wednesday. Yeah.
Do me a favor, Stephen, put it on your calendar to remind our viewers to go download The Awakening on its release date.
Sure. I will tell you. Don't worry.
All right.
Thank you.
I cannot believe it. We are already almost at an hour. And I need to thank the Hanging with Web Show TV. They promoted us this morning, advertised us to their viewers and their subscribers. So Willow, Schuyler, and the team, thank you so much for your contribution. And I've not shown this live on the show yet. Aubry, I did a piece of artwork, and it's one of the hardest things I've ever drawn. This is our new back of the cereal box cartoon mascot.
Oh, yeah.
That is my dog, Handsome Jax, the rat terrier chihuahua mix.
I knew it was a Chihuahua Terrier mix. I was about to ask. Anyway.
That's awesome. He, just the other day, he had this exact look on his face. It was one of those awesome serendipitous moments. I was like, that's Jax. I love it. So
nice.
We're gonna be doing some artwork that will be vectorized, and we'll be putting him on the back of his own cereal box shortly. Actually, so I need to tell you what I have this idea, Stephen. I'm so excited about this. And Aubry, you weren't with us last week when I first talked about it, because last week was the pinup model invasion. Great show, by the way. Go back and watch it. I'm working on a project that the podcast is going to publish. I've decided to go into the studio with a band and record a vinyl 45 of cartoon theme songs. Nice. Updated versions of them. And you may remember back in the day, Post Cereal put vinyl records on the back.
Oh, yes.
They were actually glued to the box, and you had to cut them out, but they worked. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna put a sleeve on the. We're gonna do cereal box packaging for back of the cereal box. We're gonna put the record on the back in a sleeve. In the box is going to be a T-shirt or sweatshirt, a copy of the League of Impossibilists comic book, a jump card for the Tales of the Decoverse, and a toy. A cereal box toy, and we're all going to put it in a cereal box package. So that's the big project that we're working on. I'm going to need help with a Kickstarter on that one. So if you know anyone who does successful Kickstarters, please send them my way, because I suck at it.
Okay. Absolutely.
And make sure everyone checks out Aubry's Twitch. She does live streaming on Twitch, AubryX1. What are you playing this week, Aubry? Anything exciting?
I usually just decide on the day what I'm going to do. It's whatever I'm in the mood for. But I've done Assassin's Creed and Call of Duty Zombies recently. So maybe one of those two or something else.
All right. Very cool. And I forgot to mention this. We'll close the show with this. The truth is out there. And did you guys see this month, the month of January, and we're at the end of January, but for the month of January, there were three Loch Ness Monster sightings. And did you see how they cited them, Aubry?
I did not actually.
Watching the Loch Ness live stream web feed. People are glued to this web feed that is just, focused on different parts of the loch, and they saw the creature. Now, I read the article and I was so disappointed. Not one single article had a link to the video from the web feed.
Yeah, that is pretty disappointing.
I want to see it for myself. Are you a crypto fan, Stephen?
It fascinates me, but no, I'm not invested in it. But yeah, definitely the whole thing fascinates me a lot.
Well, in your neck of the woods in Lexington, you are a Bigfoot sighting hotspot.
Mm-hmm.
And every year, CryptidCon is held in Lexington, Kentucky. We're going to that one too, Aubry, for the first time this year. We're going to go to CryptidCon. I can't wait. But have you ever seen Bigfoot? And I'm not talking about looking in the mirror, Stephen.
Right. No, I have not, but we do have in Eastern Kentucky in the mountains. I mean, we've got a lot of lore. I mean, everything from like shadow cats to, I mean, just all kinds of little folklore and kind of crypto kind of things around Kentucky. In addition to Bigfoot, there's a lot to look into here, and especially with the caves that they have underneath Lexington, that makes it even more fun because we're on top of a series of limestone caves, so you can really get into some stuff there.
Well, so my wife grew up in Berea, and there's an Imaginarium author who has written a series of books about the Eastern Kentucky Bigfoot, and one of the stories takes place in Berea, Kentucky, which is right on the edge of the Daniel Boone National Forest. And if ever there was a place for a Bigfoot to be hiding, it's the Daniel Boone National Forest.
Definitely. Yeah, it's great terrain. Something could hide easy in there.
Yeah. And, people are like, well, how come we've never seen one? Well, there are tons of sightings, but how often do you see a deer in the wild? I mean, or if you see a deer, they jump into the tree line and vanish. And they're not even smart enough to not want to be seen. If something is smart enough to not want to be seen, they're not going to be seen. So right. That's my story. I'm sticking to it. All right. So this Monday, check out the Imaginarium at entertheimaginarium.com. They will announce all of their panels, submissions, and dates, and all of that fun stuff this Monday. And check out in February, The Awakening, a Ragnar Stormbringer tale by Stephen Zimmer. And I'm going to leave everyone with a very special message. Stop. Look close. Wait. Look again. Don't be fooled. Raisins can be anywhere. Vigilance is your only protection against the dreaded fool's chocolate.
You just have a thing against raisins, don't you?
They should not be in any baked good ever. And how many times have you bitten into that chocolate chip cookie only to find out it's a raisin? That's horrible. All right.
It's happened to me.
So, guys, we are at the end of the show. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, Aubry, for being up this early in the morning. And Stephen, thank you for joining us. You are welcome anytime. And for those of you who are watching, please help us by subscribing on YouTube. Our goal is to get to 1,000 YouTube subscribers in the next 30 days. And if you subscribe to YouTube and we hit 1,000 subscribers, I will do the show in my crossplay Harley Quinn cosplay costume. If we hit 5,000, Aubry, I'll do it as Slave Leia. The gold bikini and everything.
No, you're not.
Yeah, I will. And if we hit 10,000 fans on Facebook, I'll go ahead and do Slave Leia. So either 5,000 fans on YouTube, 10,000 fans on Facebook, whichever comes first. And so you got to ante up there, Aubry. You got to decide something outrageous and ridiculous you will do if we hit our goals.
Oh, Lord. Okay. I think Slave Leia tops it, but
yeah, all of a sudden she's having second thoughts about being a co-host of this show. So anyway, subscribe on YouTube, youtube.com/back of the cereal box. Also, if you like the show, like the Facebook page at Facebook, Cereal Box Podcast, and Instagram, follow us there. We do, and that's Cereal Box Podcast as well. And of course, we do exclusive content on all of our social media channels. But the best thing you can do is support us financially. And you can do that at PayPal at johnpyka.com, or we've just launched a new Patreon campaign at patreon.com/John Pyka Productions. So your support financially, $1, $2 a month, will help us improve this show. And I think, Aubry, you got some new lighting.
Yes. I'm not in the dark anymore.
You look beautiful. Look
Thank
up at the
you.
camera, smile, show us those beautiful brown eyes.
Yeah, it'll reflect off my glasses, but
Yeah,
you know.
it's reflecting off mine too. Let's see if I can
Yeah.
line it up
Yeah.
and do like the demon thing.
Like
All right.
Sonic.
All right, so guys and gals, thanks for joining us. One last comment from Cindy Kep. Thanks for hosting the adventure. Y'all done good. Thank you, Cindy. Thank you, Stephen. Thank you, Aubry. Thank you, everyone who's watching. You guys have a great rest of the Saturday. And until the next time, love you, mean it. We'll catch you on the flip side. Bye.
Bye.